Yes,
But then he did it.
il bought.
He went all in.
Dump it. No! No!
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. When it comes out, zero.
Just hodl, bro.
Welcome to the TGH podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of inviting Raff Sleem, a young entrepreneur with a millionaire mindset. He has run multiple charity and community projects. He's currently the CEO of Dragon Musk and has a great story. We can't wait to hear that story, Raff. How are you today, Raff?
Thanks, mate. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, great, thank you. Bit better now. The market. The market is obviously recovering a little bit now. We're almost
Now
touching...
we need to recover after it.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? We need to now recover mentally.
It's like having a wake-up call, reminds me of the bull market of 2017, 2018, where everyone's like, and now you're getting back up from it, kind of thing.
I think it was worse, wasn't it, Panda? I think we said it was worse. Short term. I think we dropped 50...
I think this time, in my opinion, was worse. Like within 1 month or something, we dropped 50% on the major ones,
totally.
And 70, 80, 90% on all the altcoins.
I mean, if you look at the whole market cap of 2017, 2018, I think we reached a 1.1 all-time high trillion. And now we consolidated on this bull run. We're consolidating out 1.2, I believe it was, 1.1, 1.2 trillion. So massive adoption of crypto. So the higher the rise, the stronger the fall, I guess.
Definitely. I think we were way overextended. The market needed to settle down. And it was inevitable. It was always going to be the case. But the fact that we held at 30k is really bullish.
Oh,
maybe we will drop to 25k. Maybe we'll drop to 20. Who knows? But in my opinion, if you're not taking a position or at least starting to average in here, you're crazy, because you're risking the chance of missing out on hundreds of percent gains for just waiting for 20, 30%,
Look, I guess
greedy, isn't it?
I guess with gaining the whole crypto awareness, if you like, I'd like to think that it's quite normal to have that trading mentality, because as we spoke about this concept before, but there's two concepts in life that people will always kind of levitate to, and that's love and fear. Now, you can't go full force into an industry when you don't understand it 100%, and the industry seeing trillions of dollars being poured into it tells you that really there's a lot of psychology happening there. So as much as people are adopting cryptocurrency, they're still learning, myself included. I've been in this space for 2 to 3 years now, but you're always learning something new. There's always something to learn, kind of thing.
We've had a lot of conversations, haven't we, on this topic right now, on the whole psychological, emotional. I think staying grounded and reminding yourself that emotions are real. How do I feel? Why do I feel like that? What's happening? What are my perceptions? Understanding them and reminding yourself is so important. I think we've both got a common ground there on the psychology side of things. Like, we both read and delve into psychology and are really interested in that. So we obviously are really interested in your story of how you really got into crypto before you got into your struggle. I feel like everyone has to have a struggle, and I was really inspired talking to you about your struggle, really, of what you've been through, how hard you've worked to get where you are now. And I'd love to hear more. I'd love to be able to share that story with the audience.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And look, completely agree with you, and that's one thing that makes you unique as an individual and as an entity. For as long as I've known you, you've always been about the heart behind something before the materialistic side of something, and I think that speaks volumes, because at the end of the day, yes, we're in a crypto industry, yes, we are dealing with a lot of money on a daily basis. But at the same time, what that means is that there's individuals and there's human beings behind these computer screens. I feel like that's why it became so important to have docs developers on projects, because people want to know the real person behind whatever's happening and whatever's going on. So I guess it all started for me 7 years ago. I came to Australia 7 years ago, and I was by myself basically in Australia. Came here to study, and I don't know if you know much about this country, but it's bloody expensive to study here. So
What was
I
you
basically
studying?
had.
What was you studying? Sorry.
I was studying architecture.
Oh, right.
But it didn't take long to kind of drop out of that and realize that it's not really what I wanted to do. See, that's the thing, right? It's when you get in touch with yourself and who you are, you get to realize a lot of things about a lot of things. I feel like as individuals, as human beings, we get very limited through what other people expect of us, and unfortunately, it starts with the closest circle that we have, and it expands to the bigger one that we have.
100%, 100%.
So I learned this thing when I was little, and someone goes to me, your society in the future is going to be a reflection of your family while you're at this age. Obviously, as a kid, you don't really take that into consideration, but like the older you get, the more you start actually psychoanalyzing everything around you, and you start understanding, why do we do what we do? And you do realize that there is a lot of fear and judgment clouded around everything that you do. It's what you're used to. It's your comfort zone. But then again, someone else has told me once, your comfort zone is a very beautiful place, but nothing else grows there. So I guess coming here 7 years ago, it was kind of like it was a reality check of, who are you? What do you stand for? Why are you here? And how easy is it going to be for you to give up? And I guess that's a challenge that everyone gets put in front of every single day on various aspects, whether it's a living situation, whether it's a job, whether it's a career decision, whatever it might be. Everyone really gets put in front of that choice, and it's so easy. It's super easy. Like, I can't emphasize on how easy it is for someone to pull the plug on something they're very passionate about, because I guess with passion comes a lot of will to make it happen, but sometimes we tell ourselves that we don't really have the means to do it. And by means, our brain, our mind automatically kind of flips that to believe it to be material and money. But it's not what defines you. It's not what makes you who you are. It's you who makes you who you are. Getting into business and development and all that, I was a salesperson for a very big part of my life. And every time I used to come up with an idea that, would be great for the company that I'm working for, it would be taken and executed. But it's kind of like you get left behind for it. And the reason for that is because at the end of the day, other people will always value your intellect, but it's until you value it yourself that you can actually tap into its full potential, right? So, on that aspect of it, I got to Australia in 2014, July 2014.
Sorry, did you? Where were you before that? Sorry.
Lebanon, Middle East.
So
I was
you
born and
moved.
raised.
You're born and raised in Lebanon, so you moved to Australia on your own. At
That's right.
What age? Sorry, was that?
19.
It's crazy. I can't imagine doing that. I mean, that must
I
be.
wouldn't think that you're not born and raised in Australia because your English is so perfect.
Yeah, I know. His English is so good. Like I said
You
that.
know what?
I said that to you,
You
didn't
know
I?
what? You have, and it's
Usually
crazy how
you
many
would
times.
expect him sound like what was the movie? Um, I think it was with Adam Sandler. I forgot what it's called, man.
Not the
Yeah,
water boy.
look,
The Dictator or so.
I get that a lot. I hear that a lot from people. And see, there's a great story behind that as well. I do believe myself to have been someone who's lived in my head for a very long time, right? Now that sounds a little bit crazy, but
we
but you
love
know what?
crazy. We love crazy anyway.
But
We're crazy too.
right, but like what I realized is it is when you are allowed to acknowledge the good things about yourself is when you are going to be able to step out of your shell and hear to what do you really want, what does Raff really want.
Yeah.
Right. And I was faced with that decision multiple times in my life. So going back to that comment that you speak really good English, I used to, when I first got to Australia, I remember that crystal clear as day. I had someone turn around to me on my third day. So the way I came to Australia, it's absolutely crazy. I didn't even know what a credit card is. I'd never used a bank card before. I remember when I got my Visa card and I activated it because they told me I needed to activate it. I went into a grocery store and I was in line and I'm like, okay, I know I can pay with that thing.
Oh my God.
But I don't know how to. So I was standing in line observing the first person in line to see how they are going to tap their card and how they are going to use their card so I can do that myself.
So you had no friends at all? No
I had
one?
no one. I had absolutely no one. I remember the
19.
day I got off the train, I was so fixated for, and that journey is worth mentioning as well. It took me 9.5, 10 months to actually get to Australia. And that was it. Like I had made it clear to myself, to everyone around me, if I don't go to Australia, that's the end of it for me. I don't want to do anything else. And that's because I had a very unhappy life, and it's the moment that you are able to acknowledge that you are unhappy within your environment. What kind of limits are you willing to break to improve that? What limits are you going to push in order to get to what you really need in order for your soul to flourish, really? So when I got off the train in Geelong station, it's not regional, but it's not city. So it's like a developing regional area. I got off the train and the journey was hectic. It was the first time I've ever flown in my life. Didn't know nothing about nothing really. And when I got out off the train, off the platform, I had a suitcase that was damaged through transit. It had no wheels. I'd been dragging it around with me, a 30-kilo suitcase. I've been dragging around Melbourne with me.
Everything that you own, your entire life in that suitcase.
Exactly. 19, and it had lost
19
items
years old.
through transit, And I remember getting to Geelong, and because everything was in such a rush, I remember I got my visa on a Friday afternoon. I bought my ticket on a Saturday afternoon. Uni orientation started on Monday. I left Lebanon on the Sunday and I got to Australia on the Tuesday. Right. So it was all like a bang, bang, bang situation. And then as soon as I got my tickets, there was an actual possibility that I might have, because my brother was booking my ticket for me, and he nearly booked in one of the flights that went missing from Kuala Lumpur to Perth. right?
God.
And then when I got here and I found out about it like a year later, I was like, wow, it's like, this is crazy. Like, you know, you would go through extreme lengths, but like, sorry, I keep getting distracted from getting off the train. I got off the train and I laid my suitcase on the floor, and it was such a poetic moment that I think that I will remember this for the rest of my life. I put my suitcase down, and then I had another checked in luggage. I put that on the side, and I had my carry-on. I sat on my suitcase. It started raining. I put my hoodie on. I was like, all right, I'm in Australia now. What do I do next? Where do I go? You know, I was like, okay, great. I'm in Australia. What do I do now?
So really, like, this is just the foundations of the struggle that you've come from. 19 years old, everything that you owned in that suitcase, and you are proof that, you know, it can be done, can't it? You know, you can make your life better. You can make changes. You can make drastic, life-changing situations turn around for the better. And
Absolutely.
so what did you do then? How is did
I
you...
have not seen anything in my life that is more powerful than a person who believes. Okay. And it's been a great learning journey, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people would be able to relate that when you live in your head so much, when you're, you know, personally I've got, it's not diagnosed, but it's self-diagnosed ADHD and OCD and stuff. You have to, like, you feel like you always have to get it right. You know, I'm the type of person that if you put me behind a book, for example, and you make me read a book, I can guarantee you I'll be snoring in 12 minutes. That's my record so far. You know, so, you know, I always kind of like was super hard on myself in that sense. And, you know, it becomes a very lonely world. It becomes really lonely, you know, having in your living environment, not having known anyone, you know, not having any friends, any family around, you know. And then I had a bit of an aha moment where I'd made a friend in college, and we were sitting in front of uni after classes, and we used to have a lot of spiritual conversation and DNMs and all that. And she goes to me once, I want to ask you something, Rav. You say you want to graduate and get your master's degree and get your after graduate visa and all that, but do you really believe it? I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course I believe it. You know, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe it. Now, I went home that night, and for some reason, that line like literally leached onto my brain, and I cannot forget it, right? And then I went for a walk to the beach, and I sat there for a good 2 hours, and all that I was asking myself, do I actually believe it? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
The answer was no. I never really believed that I wanted to finish my degree and do this and do that. You know, I always thought that there is something out there for me. It's just not what I'm currently doing. You know, so
I think there's
it's
so many...
okay to feel like crap about it if what you're doing currently is not,
It's a signal.
you know.
It's a signal, isn't it? If you feel like crap about something, then it's a signal that you don't want to do that. But so many people still do it, don't they? And
Absolutely. You know what? Again, that goes back to the caging, that expectations from the surrounding society and judgment kind of puts people in. You know, that's how we get categorized as human beings. This is how you think because this is the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, you know, who's to say what's right and what's wrong?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this yesterday. Actually, it was funny. Actually, I was sat in my car. I went to pick up some new weights, Panda. The one, you know, I showed you. Just a
couple two kilogram ones.
yeah. It was funny because I was giving myself a sort of motivational speech in my own head. As I was saying before, you constantly are, aren't you? I mean, this space is so hard. crypto is really the most competitive space on the planet, isn't it? I mean, come on, let's be honest, it really is. And to survive and to carry on going, you have to consistently motivate yourself. I was thinking to myself about how many people there are out there doing jobs or living lives they don't want to live, and I was one of them as well. And it's amazing how radical people will just suddenly go bang, don't want to do that, but their mind isn't ready to change. That's so right. Quick. And it starts off, doesn't it, with a simple, as you just said then, you reminded me, as you just said then, you say to yourself, I don't really want it. And it starts with that. You plant that seed, and from there, you plant more seeds, and it grows into a plant or an idea, and then you can take action. Your mind is prepared. Your mind is then. I think. Sorry, so many people are just not prepared. They just radically go, oh, yeah, I'm changing now. And their mind goes, fuck that, I'm not ready. I'm going back to doing what I was doing. I'd rather do what I'm not happy. But if you plant the seed and you let it grow.
Back in the comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Back in the comfort zone, yeah. But if you plant that seed and get your mind in a position where you do feel like, right, I'm ready. I am changing. I am doing this. Then you can, can't you? You really can.
You know what? You know what? The way I look at it is, the world has become so superficial, no fingers pointed, right? It's just the fact of the matter that everything around here has become super superficial, right? But let's think about the psychology behind something being superficial, right? When you get sick, when you get food poisoning, you'd have diarrhea all day, right? Or when I've had a stroke at 23, and when you're having a stroke, you get a little messed in the head and you start seeing two of everything and all that, right? That's your body telling you there's something wrong with you, buddy, right?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, when you start having moments of doubt is what your body's way or your mind's way of telling you this is not right for you. You know, because there's two reasons you would have doubt: to be scared of something or to protect yourself from something. Because your brain's ultimate mission is, the way the brain is programmed, is to always protect you. So if you're someone who's scared of the dark, as soon as you see a dark narrow alley, your brain goes, hell no, you're not going in there. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Right. And it's because of the way it's been programmed by you, yes, but I feel like we have all learnt everything about life secondhand. We've all learnt everything about life from books and people and mum and dad and sister and uncle and extended family and, you know, all that sort of stuff, that I feel like their culture became ours. And by culture, I mean human culture, you know, and their habits become ours. But at the end of the day, it takes a whole nother level of awareness to sit down and say, okay, so why do I approve of this and why do I not approve of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What works for me as an individual, what works for me as a person, and what doesn't?
And these questions that you're saying here, what works, self-reflecting, understanding yourself, these are all the things you have to bring into crypto, aren't they, as well?
100%. 100%.
But on another level, right? On another level. Like, we're not just talking about going to a 9 to 5 job now and understanding, like, okay, yeah, do I want to get the bus? Do I want to drive? You know, I mean, I'm talking like you are going much deeper when you come into crypto, aren't you? So do you think that do you think your journey, your struggle helped you when you delved into crypto? Do you think that it
100%.
gave you that? Yeah.
100%. I believe, okay, so everyone gets placed in a position in their life where they have to question, okay, am I going to keep being the person I am or not? So by nature, I've always been a very empathetic person. I've always been compassionate towards other people's, and that's just genuinely there, you know, for no reason. You know, I'm not hoping to get anything out of it. but unfortunately, it's always perceived that way. But someone told me a story once, an analogy that kind of gave me another aha moment. I'm going to share all my aha moments with you today. So I was 21 at the time, and I had been here for 2 years, and I had been super close to giving up. I was going through a breakup, and I thought the world was ending, and I couldn't do it anymore, and all that. We've all been there at some stage. And at that time, I was sitting there. I was like, okay, so I don't know what's going to happen to my life in Australia. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay here or not. I don't know what's going to transpire out of that. And at the same time, I can't work more than 20 hours a week or 40-hour fortnights because of the limitations that I had on my visa. But at the same time, I have a $32,000 bill that I have to pay every year for education. And I remember I had $109 in my bank account, and I was getting paid the next day, right? So I walked past a suitcase place, and they had this massive suitcase on clearance, and I still have the suitcase, right? And I bought that suitcase, and I had told myself that day that that's it. That's all I can do. I'm going back. I can't put up with this anymore. Back
to Lebanon. Back to
Lebanon, definitely, because I was it had gotten super lonely to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I was I have no one here. I have no one with me. I have no encouragement. I have to be my own cheerleader. What do you mean? And I'm not used to being my own cheerleader.
Yeah.
So the plan was that my pay that I was going to get the next day was going to go towards buying a plane ticket and going back. And then that night, my cousin gave me this analogy. And she goes to me, I've known you for the better part of 10 years now. We've been close for the better part of 10 years. And I know the kind of person you are. Like, it strikes me odd that you're deciding to give up now. And then she told me this analogy, and she goes to me, there was this guy who was 21 years old who wanted to change the world. 10 years later, he realized he couldn't change the world. So he decided to change his own continent. 10 years later, decided he can't change that either. So he tried to change his own country. 10 years later, he can't change his country. He tried to change his family. 10 years later, he was on his deathbed, and he had realized if he had changed himself, his family would have learnt from him. His country would have learnt from his family, the continent from the country, and the world from his continent.
I love that.
Sometimes it's the simple equation of, hey, you don't need to catch your ear like that. It's simple. It's right in front of us sometimes.
Yeah. I love that. It's
so
amazing.
Reminding me of a quote from Jordan Peterson. He said something similar, but with different words. He basically said, before you go out and try to save the world, get your own room in check. Like, take care of your own room, take care of yourself, your inner self.
Yeah. And if you want other people to love you, love yourself first.
That's
the way it
works.
It's
a matter of the way we kind of like get programmed is, again, because we become so dependent and codependent on one another and on each other being just for simply being human beings. I feel that people think that the emotion of love needs to come to us.
Yeah, from someone else. Yeah, I get that.
If you've got, like, what's the world population now? 4 billion people?
No.
Well,
closer to 7.5
assume it's 4 billion. It was 4 billion last time I checked it. And that was like
in China, in China.
So 4 billion people, right? Imagine 4 billion people expecting energy to flow in. Now, that just requires a shitload of energy, excuse my language. But imagine how powerful it would be if 4 billion people were directing their energy outwards. If it all started with each and every individual and that was actually shared forward, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
And, you asked me about how were you able to kind of like bring that into crypto. This is exactly how. This analogy definitely gave me the moment where I sat there and I was like, you know what? I can do this and I can do it to benefit other people. And it's always been the driving motivation. And you know what was sad for me at the very start of my journey, for example, with Dragon Musk now, is when you tell people that it's like you're given a certain amount of time to prove that.
I
kind of like expect
yeah.
everyone to be untrue about.
Yeah. I also
what
feel
they
like
do.
some people take advantage of you. If you are,
100%.
if you say, I'm prepared to give or I'm prepared to be nice. I mean, me and Panda are running the Gem Hunters
you.
and we are consistently helping other people. And you do get people who take the piss and who think, oh great, I'm gonna prey on this person. And we've had that loads of times as well, so I understand that.
100%, because unfortunately, see, yes, people say the DeFi space is the Wild West, right? But why has it become that? Why has it become that? Why did it gain that ideology? It's gained it because it became all about money. The idea behind decentralized finance is absolutely fascinating. I mean, you don't get governments around the world wound up about any story you tell or any concept you come up with. This is serious. If it's getting the world's governments, wound up about it, it's big. It's big. And then, you come on to, I know there's a million and one, shit coins out there now that, each one wants to be the next big thing. And,
well, we don't now, did he? We don't now. They used to be. Now they just say that we're a dog.
God, it's like,
we're a dog.
Stop already.
No.
But the couple of good projects that I've come across, I look at it and you're like, wow, starting with myself, I can guarantee you, and I say that every day to my team. And that's how I try to motivate the team on a daily basis is, it's an endless world of possibilities. It's a world of endless possibilities because, if I had gone into an institution 6 months ago, holding a resume in my hand and asking for a job as a CEO in a corporation, I would be laughed out of the door.
Yeah.
Right. But right now, what I have been doing and what I know we can get accomplished is just fascinating. So it's funny, in life, you have to see when you go to school, right? You study for a whole year and then you sit the end of year exams, right? But when it comes to life, you actually sit the test once and twice and 10 times until you learn that lesson. So it's reversed.
Yeah.
So that's why, when someone comes to me, like there's a lot of people that would come to me and say, hey, look, I don't have a degree, but I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's already embedded that you kind of like need a degree. I'm all for education, don't get me wrong.
I was going to ask. I was going to ask. My thoughts are. Elon Musk says, doesn't he? Screw your degree. It's all about you, your mindset, your passion, your drive. How many hours you can put in. Screw the degree. It's like people are now getting degrees. It's like the shortcut, isn't it? There's my degree. I've passed.
Yep, that's right. It's like
that's all I need.
That's
all I need. It's like I've seen people as well who've gone through it and got the degree, and it's like they're done. They've got what they need. They're done, and it's like it's not even started. Not even started.
Similar to my story. So I was studying until I'm still studying, but I pretty much paused that whole thing, and I only had to do my bachelor thesis. I'm not sure if that's something you understand. Maybe it's a German thing, but basically I've done 3.5 years and I only need to like my last work, which is like 50 pages or something.
Right.
So that was the only outstanding thing, and has been for 1 year. But we went all in crypto because I always knew it's nothing I really want to do. It was similar to your story, that it's more of a family thing, and I was kind of doing it for my mother and the family. I never really got into that.
That's
so
beautiful. Thanks for sharing
crypto was kind of the thing, and now people are telling me just finish it and then you're done. But yeah, that's the point. Then I'm done. I have this thing I can put on my wall and just tell people at the table, I finished that. So what now?
I also, but I almost feel like not doing it is going to give you your mind better drive, because you're going to say, no, that's not for me. I'm not going to kid myself. No, I'm doing this. This is what I want to do.
Right. Look, I'll tell you, for example, when I got into DeFi, you know, I had already been investing in the stable coins, you know, from Bitcoin to Ethereum, Cardano, all the rest of them, right? And ever since I started studying the DeFi space, it's a phenomenal space. There is so much potential in it, you know. So I remember I had a full-time job as a showroom manager for a furniture company, right? And then I got offered a position at the time from a different company, which was to take over a franchise. And I kid you not, a week earlier, I was sitting down with myself basically, and I was like, okay, so what's my future plan? What's my 10-year goal? And part of my 10-year goal was to have a real estate business, right?
Right.
And own a franchise of some sort, whether it be furniture, whether it be appliances, whether it be whatever it may be.
Would it need to be something that you're interested in, or would you just get into any franchise?
100%, because if I'm not passionate about something, there is no way in hell I'm going to sit here and try to sell it to you.
I'm quite similar. I'm quite similar to you. I'm quite similar. What's your thoughts on the market now? Because we're wrapping up soon. We're wrapping up the podcast soon. What is your thoughts on the market? Where do you think we'll be by the end of this year? Do you think we're going to rally up to 100k, or do you think we're going to, you know, what are your thoughts on the market?
Look, to be honest with you, I've been very reserved. See, different people would have different opinions on that, depending on what their strategy is, right? My strategy has always been that I believe in this space, and I know that whatever happens now, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, it's going to be at an exponential rate from right now that I'm going to be remembering today and laughing at it. So what I feel that what happens usually in analyzing the market is people get too caught up in what's going to happen today and tomorrow.
100%.
Right. But the way I've learned how to live my life, and I guess that's being a survivor's mentality, is, you know, you've made a decision, let it be and let it take its course. Now, that's the philosophical answer to your question. In terms of the actual numbers wise, I do think we are going to rally. I'm very much on the fence, because I feel like now we're sitting at breakpoint where, you know, either there's a second leg going up or a bear market coming in.
Make or break, isn't it? It's make or break.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, I guess instead of sitting here and trying to predict what's going to happen, I think the better approach for me on a personal level anyway, in terms of for strategy and stuff, you know, you want to look, it's like every time you'd be able to relate to that. We've
got 50 seconds left, Raff, just so you know.
I'll make it very quick. Every time someone comes in, you know, it's like they're asking about what's the price going to be like, and it's always going to be mentioned that no one's going to be able to tell them that. You know what I mean?
Really, honestly, Raff, I'm really glad you came on today, and this episode was meant to give.
We will need another one to cover more of the stuff.
Let's bring you back on again in the future. But this is meant to give people some motivation and insight into what people have been, what some people have been through. You know, like, you left home at 19. Your entire life in a suitcase, moved to Australia. That's crazy alone. Never mind the rest of it. So, Raff, listen. Sorry, Raff. I think we lost Panda there. Bad connection. So yeah, to finish off, this was just supposed to be a bit of a motivational, inspiring episode for people, as I said, to see what others have actually been through and how hard they've worked. And have you got anything you want to finish off with? Have you got a statement you want to say before we end this?
Just wanted to really say thanks for having me on here. It's been a pleasure knowing you really for the time that I have, and I feel like it's been great being involved in this journey as a journey with like-minded people like yourself.
100%.
You know, and I feel like that's how, you know, my only thing that I would want to say is, you know, don't ever limit yourself to anyone who's watching it. You know, don't ever limit yourself to what you think you're capable of. Explore what you're capable of and then go by that.
Love it, because you never know what you are capable of until you've pushed yourself to your full potential. The funny thing is, when you are hitting your full potential, most people around you, especially the closest people in the close circles, will say, you're on crypto too much, or you're doing this, I don't like this, why are you doing this? They'll try and change you to what they think or to conform. It's crazy, isn't it? The psychological impact it has on other people, you following your passion, that has on other people. It's hard. It's hard. Following your passion is hard because other people also make it hard. There's so many challenges.
It will always bring out a certain emotion in people, right? Because, you know, someone's going to be happy for you, but thinking, why could I not do it? You know, and that's why I always encourage everyone to kind of be compassionate towards, you know, someone they might know in that situation, because at the end of the day, as much as we try to portray that we don't need each other, we really do.
Yeah, we do.
We really do.
We do. I feel like on that, what you just said there, you know, in the military, when you get promoted, you get moved into a different platoon or a different brigade, whatever. But in life, when you get promoted, when you're doing well, you don't move to a different circle of friends, or you don't move. Right. And it's amazing from my own experience. I give people my, you know, Twitter details and things like that to try and give them an understanding of how all this works. And that's what happened with me. I found out about crypto through a couple of different online friends and cousin of a cousin, and you know, I didn't really get any help, but they gave me Twitter details, and that's all I needed. That's all I got. But I done the same, and I got I got nothing but hate and bitterness and jealousy and bitch, and it's like, wow, it really shows who you are as a person in those situations, how you react, as you just said then, to someone else progressing. Are you going to look at them and be happy, and are you going to embrace that and try to use that to inspire you to do better things, or are you going to be choose the dark side and be bitter, be jealous?
100%. And that's something like I always try to kind of push and encourage and put forward is, it's not easy doing the right thing. It's not easy going out on a limb to see the best in people, because, you know, you're exposing yourself to vulnerability at the end of the day, and that's scary for anyone. But it is so well worth it when you come out the other end. You know, everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt. And it's kind of like you give someone that much of trust, they're either going to build it up or squish it down.
That's it. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today, Raff. I'm sure we'll have you on again later down the line when we've got more stories to tell. Cheers, Raff.
Look forward to it. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Sean.
See you, buddy.
Later, brother.